We are joined today by Kalah Spasbury, the president of Hub Funding Solutions, a company she co-founded with her husband Jay to help clients access funding. Her innovative approach earned her a spot on Monitor Daily's Next Gen Leaders Under 40 in 2022. She's also a certified lease and finance professional and the president for the American Association of Commercial Finance Brokers for year 2025 to 2026. With nearly a decade in the industry and over $100 million funded, Kalah joins us today on the CEO Blueprint to share her journey and impact in commercial finance.
Welcome to the CEO's Blueprint. I'm so thrilled to have you. Kalah, you are the CEO, the founder of Up Funding Solutions, and I know you've raised over $100 million for businesses. Someone wants to raise capital. I'm excited. I want to learn all about your journey. How did you get here? What has kept you going these past 13 years of running this business, helping businesses out there, beyond the traditional bank? That's why we are here today, Kalah. What's that surprising thing about Up Funding Solution that someone is going to hear that will surprise them just before we go into the details?
I would think the surprising thing is that the decisions are still made by humans and it's relational. And I think we've lost that in commercial finance and business finance so much. It's become about instantaneous. It's become about fastest decision possible. And we take a step back from that and we want to know the story. We want to talk to people. We want to know where they're at, where they're going, what the plan is, the struggles, the challenges, the goals. And I think we've lost that in a lot of commercial finance. And I think we need to take a step back and look at the relational part of that. And that's something that we continue to do. We're not auto decision, and we're not for everyone, but we're for the people that want that relationship and want more than just an auto reply.
Absolutely fantastic. So this is not an AI, this is a real business listening to real people, real issues, who wants to do something out there. Fantastic.
I'm a business owner. It's business owners helping business owners. I've had multiple businesses, so I'm taking it from an operational. I'm just behind a desk now because it's, getting a little bit harder. I'm focusing on family and things like that, but the hustle, the grind, the days where you want to cry under your desk,
I
the
know that.
days where you've got the wins and you're high-fiving, right? I've experienced that. My husband and I own the business. We're in it. Like we're as invested in the people we serve as they are. I think that's what a big foundation of it
Yeah.
is
And
our experience in the real world.
and that's the story I want to listen to. What's your personal story? Because I've seen CEOs who are very emotional about the dream, the vision. What led you into starting this? Because I know there's a story behind it.
Sure. So I was originally going to be a teacher. My husband and I both
Oh.
were. I was actually an English major. My husband was an ag major. And we thought we were going to teach. And I still do that. It's just a different
Oh,
class.
good
Um,
stuff.
I couldn't hack it, to be quite honest. The large school high schoolers, I was pregnant with my second child at the time. I wanted something else. I wanted outside of the walls. I'm a little ADD. And so I wanted to do something more. I went
Mm,
into real estate. I was a realtor. I loved it. I crushed it. But then I got the opportunity to invest in a commercial finance firm.
mm.
And I did that. I thought it was going to be mailbox money. I thought, great, I'll do my real estate. I'll have this mailbox money. And the more I got into it, I was working 7 days a week. I was doing commercial real estate during the day, showing houses at night, showing houses on the weekend, and I was losing my ability to spend time with my kids.
Mm,
Um, and so I had to make a choice. While I really loved commercial real estate, I realized that I was doing the same thing with commercial finance in the fact that I get to help business owners find out what they need, help them overcome the challenges, and get them where they want to go and provide them with those options. And I was originally a direct lender. I was not a broker first. I was a direct lender first.
mm.
And I realized very quickly that I had a box and I had to stay in that box. and I'm not very good with boxes. I uh I like to break out of that box. And so after some struggles, we had a lot of oil field at that time, and the oil field market went down really hard. So we had to work through that. And then in the midst of all of that, I actually had a mini stroke, a brain event
Oh wow.
that impaired my ability to speak.
Oh wow.
For several months, I had to go to the Mayo Clinic. Um, I lost a lot of things during that time, but I gained a lot of insight. And then after going to the Mayo Clinic, after the support from my family to get better, I was told
Mm.
to reduce my stress. So, that's hard for somebody like me. I'm not going to say that I thrive on stress, but I'm really high pace and quick pace, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate to that. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you
I know.
you go
I know
every
what you.
day because you feel it, not because you
Yeah.
have to. After that happened, it took a while to get better, but as soon as I could get better, I got back out. I actually let everything just kind of I quit my own company. I stepped
Wow.
back. We just let everything kind of hang out, and I went and worked for a lender in Dallas, and then I was recruited by a lender up in Baltimore. And while I liked it, again, it was a box, and I was struggling with the box.
Mm.
And I was struggling with selling because I went, well, we can help them here and they need help over here. And they said, no, this is our box. You have to work in our box.
Yeah.
And if you like the box, if you like just being able to say yes or no in finance, if that's your thing, hey, go for it. If you want to clock in and clock out, do it. I mean, two good companies, two different areas. I enjoyed it, but I wanted to get back to solving problems.
Mm.
And so some of the people that I knew outside of equipment finance that were in AR finance that I'd worked with, I'd sent business to. I said, this is what I want to do. They said, well, be a broker. I said, what's a commercial broker? I mean, what's a, I know what business brokers were, but I
Yeah.
didn't know what commercial finance brokers were. And at that time, I had a little bit of money left. We had kind of cleared everything out, and I was at the point that I needed to make a decision. Am I going to go work for a bank? Am I going to go into that? Or am I going to look into this broker thing? And I took a chance. My first thing I did was I went to the AACFB, which used to be called the NAELB,
Mm-hmm.
but the AACFB conference. I didn't know anybody. I just walked in. I was like, I'm here. I'm going to learn. The classes were amazing and the networking was amazing. Getting in a group of people, of my colleagues in the business that were technically my, they were technically my competition,
Yeah.
but the camaraderie and wanting to come together for the betterment of an industry, it just blew me away. And I was creating my website while I was in the hotel at night, during that conference because I
Yeah.
was nervous about talking to people. I was going to go learn first and check it out. And I loved it so much that I signed up there. I said, I want to be a member. And that was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And or 8 years ago now. And now I'm the president of the board of directors. I've been on the board for about 5 years now, and I love it. I love the serving, the education, the growth.
Yeah.
Because in this business, there are two types of brokers.
Mm.
There are deal-based brokers and there are relational brokers
Mm.
and there are cross-selling brokers and there are brokers that are there to make money, but they're there for the relationship and they're there because we love the hunt, we love solving problems,
Mm.
and it's a different part of the industry. It's not the
Yeah.
stuff you're going to see at debanked, and debanked is that's great, they do their thing. But what I found is a community to support me in the profession that I love. And that made all the difference to me. It allows me to come in and I don't have that box anymore.
That's the word I want to come back to, that box thing. And I know there's a lot of people, I've been there myself, right? You feel like you're in the box, you want to get out, you want to do your own thing, creative, be more creative. there's a way you like to do things, but this corporate world, kind of puts you in a box. Someone is watching you right now and is thinking, Kayla, you did it. There was something you saw, and you try to get out of that box. And someone is feeling stuck right now, right? Also in that same box. What was the motivating factor for you? For me, I would probably say if I don't do this, I'm going to die. I'd rather die trying to get out of that box than dying in the box. What was the motivating factor for you? Getting out of that box to go do your own thing.
I think it was, I knew from my experience in business that I need to diversify because
Mm,
that's the mistake that I made originally when I was
mm,
originally direct lender. I was very concentrated in equipment. I was very concentrated in a single industry. And I
mm,
knew that I needed to diversify, but I
mm,
also wanted to diversify
mm,
because diversification is survival.
mm,
In this business, in any business, was I need to diversify, but I had to learn that the hard way. And the
mm,
goal is to make that easier. Diversification makes life interesting. So, diversification in a business, whether it's customers, whether it's a program that you offer,
mm,
whether it's your area, diversification creates longevity.
mm,
And you don't have to recreate the wheel to diversify. So originally,
mm,
I was in equipment. That's all I did was equipment.
mm,
But people would call me and say, "Hey, I also need help with my cash flow. I
mm,
also need to go take advantage of this new contract."
mm.
Well, I was referring that business out. I had great partners, don't get me wrong.
You could have done it yourself. Yes.
Correct. And I could
Yeah.
have done it myself. And as a broker, you have the ability to do that. And just like if you own a business, looking around at what your businesses are asking for
Mm,
is big.
mm,
So I have a great client who took this on. They purchased a carpet cleaning company. Well, they were cleaning carpets for the university here. And the university asked them, "Well, can you clean our vent hoods?" Similar thing, right? They're like, "Yeah, why not?" Well, that diversification, just taking on what their clients needed, asking the question, "Is there anything else we can do to help you?" Right? Allows you to add on programs and test drive other programs and products with what you either have or things that you have the ability to.
mm,
It's just like with a marketing company. A marketing company that does websites can go, "You know what? We can do your website, but we can do your social media. We can come in and use AI to help with your customer engagement."
mm.
So there's things that you can do to expand out.
Yeah.
Um, that's why you see so many plumbing companies that do more than just plumbing.
Absolutely. One question I want to ask there, when you were referring those businesses out, did you feel you were not big enough to handle them? Did you ever feel you were not big enough and you were quick to refer them out? Was that the reason?
I
Or you
didn't
just,
have the knowledge. I
I
didn't have
see,
the knowledge to help them to the best of my ability.
got it.
The difference between the way I do business and the way a lot of other brokers do business, a lot of other brokers do business that they're just like, "Hey, cool, yeah, I can do that. Let me shove it over to this person." But my goal is to be a subject matter expert. Now, like accounts receivable, managing cash flow, contracts, things
Mm,
like that. Now I know there's three levels of AR finance. There's a way to do AR and PO. There's a way to do project finance, and all of those create no debt. But I felt like I needed to be proficient in them before I offered them.
good
Um,
stuff.
it's liability protection for me, but it's also doing what's in the best interest of the client. And I have to
Got it.
tell you, that's one of my biggest things that I will stand on is I'm going to do what's best for that client.
Absolutely.
So it's just a different way that I choose to do business.
Got it. Got it. So in today's climate, right, business climate, how and I know what you're trying to do, your business kind of welcomes people beyond the traditional banking where it's either tick this box and it's a yes, it's a no, they don't even get to meet you, but you're building relationship with businesses, right? You're trying to know what their pain points are and all of that. And that brings me to my next question on the current climate, right? What's the biggest pain point for any business right now that is trying to raise capital?
I will preface by saying it's every industry. Here in the US,
Mm,
I have not seen one unaffected industry. And I have lots of friends that are small business owners, and I'm talking to them saying, it's not you.
mm,
You are not failing. Your business is just dealing with something that's unprecedented for millennials. I'm a millennial, and it's unprecedented for us. I would say that cash flow is the main challenge. We review just about every quarter. We review what we need to be concentrating on. What is the economy telling us? What are the trends telling us? And I think the big challenge right now is cash flow. It's paying people, paying your employees is number one, and then paying your bills is number two. Just to make it simple. We're not
mm.
going to get into, yes, there's all these other things, but I would say that those are the main things that people are struggling with. And it's not one size fit all. Handing somebody a pot of money doesn't necessarily help them take care of that. You have to have a plan and certain financial tools in order to take that on and not just put a band-aid on it. They need an actual plan, and that's what we do. We're not just handing money. We're setting up a plan on what they can do to
Mm.
increase cash flow, to reduce expenses, to manage payroll. And to me, that's stewarding your money that you have and stewarding your resources in a more responsible way so that you can get through it. Because the last
The-
thing I want to do is load somebody up with debt and then they have to come back to me that they can't pay it. So we
mm,
really try to help them
mm.
steward that and have a plan.
Got it. Now, there's one question I have for you, right? Do you think that traditional bank is failing? And before you answer that question, I've seen a lot of challenger banks, coming into the space right now. I don't want to mention names right now, but I've seen a lot of challenger banks coming in. They've made it so easy for people to have access capital. It may not be the big money type of capital, but I see that these guys are coming into the space, making it very easy for SMEs to access capital and all of that. I will come back to that question on what the future of banking should look like, what the future of financing should look like. But my original question, is traditional bank failing?
I don't think it's failing. I think it's changing its role. Because behind all of these private lenders, even in my
Mm-hmm,
space, all right, you have bank-owned branches because banks can't finance equipment. Banks have arms
mm-hmm,
that the bank owns that can finance equipment.
yeah.
The role of the bank is changing in commercial finance into the background. You're not going to be able to walk into your local bank and get a loan for your business.
Mm,
It is shifting to, and it's been shifting for a long time. This is not new. Um, it's shifting into where you fund with a private or bank-owned lending institution for your equipment, for your working capital, and all of those good things.
mm-hmm,
And the bank is funding it on the back, whether it's private or bank-owned. The
absolutely.
bank lends to that entity, and that
Correct.
entity uses those funds to loan to you.
Mm-hmm,
The bank makes a better yield and has less risk because they have two parties standing between them and the risk.
mm,
They have the company that they're lending the funds to, whether it's an assignment, whether it's a participation, a warehouse line, however they have it.
mm,
Their guarantee and then the borrower's guarantee is standing between them and risk. So lower
mm.
risk, higher yield. Gosh, that's a no-brainer.
It's a good balance.
It is. And I
Yeah,
think it comes down to intermediaries like brokers
yeah,
are the new lending officer.
yeah.
We're the ones that are there to be the ally and the advocate for the small business owner. and we've
And
got to rise to that occasion.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I'm going back to how I started that Funding Hub Solutions has raised over $100 million for businesses. What sets you apart? How is your approach different from others?
So the way Hub is different
Yeah.
than the lenders is that we're going to ask questions, determine the need and the profile, and then go in and look at options.
Mm,
It's what do you really need? Is it project finance? Is it really equipment finance? Is it working capital? Is it AR management? Because at the end of the day, they have to have something that functions. Then we're going to go, okay, we're going to go get that. We're going to go get the options, lay them out on the table in a spreadsheet, and we're going to talk over the pros and cons of each opportunity and
yeah,
each option.
yeah,
And then the business owner decides what they want because business owners need to be in control and make the decisions on how they're financed.
correct.
They're putting their name on the line that I believe in my business. I'm borrowing this money. I know what I'm going to do with it. But they need to have a say so and control over that. And you get to do that the way that we're doing it.
Mm.
Um, Going to the traditional bank or going to one lender, or you just go in. How many times do people actually read the paperwork when they go into the bank to sign for a loan? They don't.
They don't. Yeah.
And so they don't really know what's supposed to happen. They don't really know what their risks are. They don't really know what their options are. They have one. It's a yes or no, take it or leave it. And it comes back to you have choices and you need to be able to know what those choices are and make the decision. Even if
Yeah.
that decision is no, even if that decision is I want to wait, then I'm going to say, okay, great, let's wait. People think I'm a little crazy, but it's just kind of, again, where I sit. I've told people I wouldn't take this deal. Let's change XYZ. Let's get your credit score up. Let's work on some cash things and some things so that you look better from a cash flow perspective, and then go
Hmm.
back and we can get a better offer.
Hmm.
Because if it's not going to benefit them, I don't want them to do it.
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's very different.
Yeah,
Um,
that's very relationship based, relational, like you've mentioned. It's not all about the money. It's also looking after your clients.
Yeah, I'm really blessed that we keep a very lean, small. I mean, we're still in the same building we've been in for 5 years. And we love it. And we're staying lean so that we can do what's really in people's best interest. And I'm very blessed from a family standpoint that we're really low maintenance. So
Good
that
stuff.
allows me that I don't have to close on this deal to make sure that I make money this week. I want to make
Mm,
sure that it's right. And I
mm,
that's been people say, have you reached a goal? Yeah, I've reached that goal that I can say no, or let's wait, or hey, you know what? Let's talk next week. I'm not going to push somebody to close. And people come back. And that's the best thing when they do call
y-
back.
yeah, yeah. I would like to hear a story where you closed the particular deal and it felt like this was purpose for you. This was the reason why you exist. It became fulfilling for you. It was like, oh yeah, finally, this is it. This is why I exist. This is why we created this in the first place. Those emotional deals you feel like you don't have to mention it because of confidentiality sake and all of that, but I
Sure.
want to hear that story where people would identify and say, yeah, this is purpose for me. This is why we exist. This is the mission. And I think those are the falling moments where you look back and say, you're doing the right thing. You're in the right space. Do you have any of such stories you want to tell us?
So I actually have two. And one was purpose and God's grace during a really hard time. So during COVID, of course, all lending stopped. It just stopped. The last guy that we financed was a startup tree trimming company, and then it all stopped. And I had savings, but we're self-funded. So I can't go get funding to support my business. I have to stay self-funded, and I have to
Mm.
manage what I'm given. And so we're going through that. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to shift to? What are we going to do? And we heard about PPP. Well, the banks were doing PPP. We I'm very thankful for this. A friend of mine said, "Hey, I know a gentleman with a local bank. The local bank can't support processing all of these. We're very good processors. That's one thing I invested in was my back end.
Mm.
Um, and so we're really good at processing with people and listening to them and getting them through. And PPP was a savior, but it was also hell. It was a very difficult time. And we ended up not funding personally, but we went in and worked for the banks and processed over 600 PPPs for companies, both in round one and two. And there were a lot of nights that it was a three-man team. And there were a lot of nights that I was working 20 hours a night. You had to type out every person's name, every single employee. We had to type out their name. And I was doing a really large oil field service company, chemical company. And typing out their names was purpose because every person, I'm Christian. I was praying over them. I was going, help them get through, so that we're doing that. And it was exhausting. My husband was having to help do my kids' school. And we were up at the office. We were able to work from the office and from home. And that purpose of making sure that somebody had a paycheck meant
Mm.
everything to me. I was
Mm.
able to help people that I knew locally. Banks were sending people to us that they were turning away. And I had a client who became a great client, and he called me and he said, I need your help. My bank told me they weren't helping businesses like me.
Mm.
And that struck a chord with me. He was a smaller, minority owned business. He wouldn't have been a huge client of the banks, but it
Mm.
mattered to me.
Mm.
And he was able to pay himself and pay his people. And that meant everything to me.
Mm.
So while that's not a financial win, we actually didn't get paid for a lot of work,
Mm.
but we did it anyway.
Mm.
And God took care of us. And so that, from a purpose standpoint, that meant everything to me. That switched me over from being mainly industrial, switched me over more into small business and getting to know those people and knowing them since then. It's made all the difference in the world to me from a serving standpoint and what I
Mm.
really want to do.
Mm.
And one interesting thing I learned is most businesses had 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month worth of operating capital in the savings account.
Mm.
The really healthy ones maybe had 3 months, but there were a lot of people that were 2 weeks out from being under. So it kind of just changed my worldview on finance, cash flow, and how it affects the small business owner.
Mm.
So that was a big thing. Just from an overall, I was put in that place for that time. Do I ever want to do it again? No, please. Um, I gained a lot of gray hair, but it was worth it. Hands down, it was worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that story. And I think it actually struck a chord with me as well because I feel if you didn't start that, if you weren't in that position at that moment, someone could have gone to bed hungry, and it felt like purpose for you, and I think business is a calling as well. But I don't want to go into that right now, but I think someone needed to hear that because if you did not start that business, someone could have gone hungry to bed, and thank you for doing what you're doing out there. I've got just two questions before I let you go. As a CEO, I know time is very precious for you. We can go on and on and on, but I obviously want to have many more episodes with you. In terms of mindsets, Kayla, I want you to help someone in terms of mindset. I know there are moments where you feel like giving up. Business is very challenging. What keeps you going? What do you fall back to? Are there books that you read? Are there habits that you kind of know that I need to do this? What keeps you going? It's been
So
13 years journey, I believe, if not more than that. You've told me a bit about your story even before now, but I want to just know what keeps you going as an encouragement to someone that is listening to this.
so my faith in Jesus keeps me going
I like,
because I have to work on it every day. Is am I going to have a mindset of want and lack that I don't have enough, or am I going to have a mindset that I am taken care of and I live in abundance because abundance is in front of me and I can go get it?
mm,
Things come to me. I'm very blessed because we get a lot of incoming business, but I have been equipped to go do the things that I want to do, connect with the people that I want to connect with. But I have to make the choice every day. What is my mindset going to be today? Am I going to sit back and feel sorry for myself and worry about what bills are due and worry about where the business is going to come from? Am I going to go out and be vulnerable and go get it and do the things that I need to with the skills I've been given?
mm,
I'm very blessed because I educate. I love to get in front of people. I love to help people, and I have to use that. And if I use what I've been given, then I can be successful.
mm.
Mm, I have the ability to think outside the box. It's a wonderful ADHD trait. And so if I will slow down and think long enough, I can figure out how to make it out of most situations. Um, and I think that's what keeps me going is that I have endless possibilities in front of me. And sometimes I just have to pick up by the bootstraps. I'm from Texas, so we do things with our bootstraps and actually
I
own
like
boots.
I like that.
Um, to go, but I have the skill sets. People have skill sets. You have a skill set, and you
Mm,
have the ability, and you're blessed with that skill set to go do the things that you want to.
mm.
Um, so I think that's where it's come from is that I have it. I can go use it, and I have to make the choice every day whether to do that.
Thank you so much for that, Kayla. And just to wrap this up, someone is listening right now, and I know that your business is, you're not mainly for startups, you're for, whole businesses who wants to keep going, either facing bankruptcy or they just, you know, they need to get to that level, and they're thinking right now, how do I access funding for my business? What's the first thing they should do right now as a final wrap
So
up?
there's two paths, right? Whether you're
Mhm.
growing or whether you're facing a challenge right now. And I
Mm,
think the first thing to do is to schedule a call and let's talk. Some people
mm,
know what they want to do right off the bat. That's great. They're
mm,
prepared. That's great.
mm,
You don't have to be perfect to get financing.
mm,
Not here anyway. Banks, it's a little
mm,
bit different,
mm,
but be willing to have a conversation and be honest and be ready to discuss where you want to go, be
mm,
ready to discuss your challenges and your strengths,
mm.
and be open-minded to thinking outside of the box. So be open to a conversation. That is the number one thing. The books will come later, everything else will come, but just be willing to have that conversation.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll come back to that box maybe in another episode. The box thing. We will come back to that. Look, thank you so much, Kayla, and for giving us your time this evening. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I believe to be able to find you, people can search you on LinkedIn, connect with you. They can connect, with you on the website. Any other channel to reach out to Kalah?
Yeah,
Funding up,
absolutely.
funding.
LinkedIn
Yeah.
is great. I love LinkedIn. Our website is wonderful. We actually have a 24-hour phone line. So somebody
Amazing.
answers our main phone line that's listed on the website 24 hours a day. You get a live person. You can schedule a call. And I'm always up for if somebody just wants to shoot me an email. I don't give my personal cell phone out anymore. But once we connect, I'm definitely a
Absolutely.
texter and work through it
You,
that way.
you can take it from there. Thank you so much for allowing us to host you this beautiful evening, I would say.